Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Chris Kelso, filling in for Kevin Price. Again, you can always catch us at priceofbusiness.com. Next up, we have one of my great friends, great individuals, and great business builder, John Altic with JLA Realty. John, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Doing very well. For all those listeners who have not heard of you before, let us know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is John Altic. I'm the broker-owner of JLA Realty. We are a full-service real estate brokerage headquartered in the Atascocita area. We have 250 agents across Houston with offices in Dayton, Crosby, 59 North, downtown, and just announced the one in Katy. So lots of growth going on.
Lots of growth going on. You know, I was talking to the guys in the studio here. I was like, if you guys haven't met John, he has a great business story to tell. I mean, you know, one of the things, you and I have been friends for a little while, but it's amazing. You started JLA, and you know, you went from, you know, technically speaking, 2.5 years ago to 250 today. And I want to talk a little bit about how you've done that. You serve some markets that I think have been traditionally underserved, but also you build business the right way. You do it the right way, which in my personal opinion is you're always looking out for the best of others versus best for you. But talk a bit about that growth and what that success has looked like to you.
Yes, no, we've been very blessed. I'm going to go ahead and say that up front. However, you know, a lot of business is spent around the bottom line of a company and less around the culture. And what I've done in looking back in my years in sales, I spent 14 years with Hershey Chocolate in corporate America and then had a Century 21 franchise for a while. Is a lot of times that I looked at taking care of the clients is really important, but we miss the actual employee piece. Now in real estate, nobody's an employee because they're all 1099 agents, but I spend my time taking care of my agents. I'm a big Richard Branson fan, and he always says, take care of your employees first and they'll take care of your customers. And that's kind of my model. I spend a lot of time with my agents, making sure that they have what they need, making sure personally they're in the right spot, making sure business-wise they're in the right spot. So, yeah, the growth at JLA has been built around the agents themselves and taking care of them, number one, and then letting the business grow from there.
And that's awesome. You know, and speaking of the business growing also, I think it's really interesting because you've grown in some areas which traditionally speaking have been very underserved. And, you know, part about building that culture and that family is it's actually sort of grown up and been driven because of that culture you've built. Individuals saying, hey, by the way, I grew up in Cleveland, or I grew up in, Dayton, or I grew up in Edo, or wherever it might be. And you sort of built these new offices as a result of that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I grew up in small town America. I grew up in Southwest Missouri. Small towns are close to me. I understand them, but I also understand in order to have a successful business in any of the small towns, you've got to be from that small town. And so I went out and cultivated agents from areas that I felt like had great growth opportunities, cultivated those agents into being management material, and said, hey, let's do this. Let's open an office together in these smaller towns. But you've got to be from those small towns in order to make them work and in order to be successful. And that has been a really good model for us.
You know, let's talk a little about real estate right now. Obviously, we're coming into the 2016 summertime right now. We had a little bit of a lull from a little bit of a count from their higher-end market, but we're seeing the past couple of months has just been absolutely incredible activity-wise. What have you been seeing out there, both in the small and the large markets?
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think that we get caught up in the news media talking about the oil and gas and how it's affecting our economy, and sometimes people get worried, and it's that confidence, clientele confidence. But at the end of the day, the real estate market's just a monster. We're having a fabulous year. I think we're trending up about 65% over 2015. Agents are closing deals at an alarming rate. And we're crossing all price points again. There for a while we had some slowdowns in certain price points, but at the end of the day right now we're seeing a lot of movement and a lot of activity. I mean, May looks to be just amazing, and I don't see it slowing down.
No, I would absolutely agree. You know, and for all those listeners who don't know this and what John's talking about is, you know, oil and gas, obviously, John has been a driver of the Houston economy for a long time, but I think we learned our lessons in the 80s. Whenever we said, you know, we had to diversify, and nowadays the Houston economy, the number one employer in Houston is actually healthcare. Number two is actually retail and related services. Number three is technology. Number four is Port of Houston. So you start looking and seeing where oil and gas is. We hear this media and what they say, but the reality is boots on the street, and what you and I are seeing all the time is it's a different market out there, and it's a good market that it's diversified as much as it has.
Oh, I agree, and I think that Houston got this right from the 80s, and they put a lot of effort into getting the diversification of our economy. And we see a lot of reload people coming in for things not oil and gas related. And yes, it's hurting. Oil and gas is hurting some families. Don't get me wrong. And we hate to see that. And we hope that bounces back quickly. But it does not have the heavy control of our real estate industry like it did back in the 80s.
No, I would absolutely agree. Going forward, what do you see some of the challenges of continued growth for JLA, or some of the great opportunities that JLA still has to grow forward?
Oh, man, we're super excited about where we're going to take this company. I've got an absolutely awesome leadership team around me and management team, but all the way down to brand new agents, just the excitement level we have of what we're doing and watching it happen. So I see a lot of growth. We've got some other areas we're looking hard in, the Woodlands being one of those, as well as Montrose, Galveston, Pearland. We've got some other areas we'll be popping up in with offices in the very near future. But, I feel like I have a model that's working and will transcend other markets such as Dallas and Austin and San Antonio. And then we'll see what it looks like outside of Texas. But I got to have the right leadership team in place. I've got to have the right managers that understand it's culture first and taking care of your people, and then we grow from there. So my challenge is getting the right management team in place and the right leaders. But the opportunity is just wide open.
And I'll tell you got some great leaders out there, Duck and Jessica and Kim and Wesley. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, so maybe you can help me with some other ones right there. But you got some great leaders on your team. Now's a great time to give them a shout-out, by the way.
I do have. What I've done is I've mixed my leadership team. So I have some true veterans in the real estate industry, and Kim Scott, Amanda Seidel, and Ronnie Dees. And I've mixed those in with some relatively new, fresh excitement with the Duck Hongs and Raylene Chastains. Then I've got the Pratka team out in Dayton. I've got Shauna Gustafson up on 59 North is doing a fabulous job. I got Terry Vaughn out in the Woodlands. I've just got a lot of, and I'm sure I left somebody out there, but we just have a lot of great, fresh, exciting ideas. And we've got some awesome agents that are going to be joining us in the next few months that really want to take their business to the next level and be a part of the fun we're having. I mean, at the end of the day, we're having a ton of fun. For me, that's important, because if we're not having fun, we can go back to corporate America and get that paycheck every 2 weeks and take that approach versus the fun and excitement of being an independent contractor.
And you are right, by the way. I mean, if you don't enjoy what you do, why do it, number one?
Absolutely.
And I've said that's all the time. So, and let's face it, real estate can be absolutely one of the most rewarding markets to get into, but it's not one of those ones that's easy money, as sometimes people think. It actually takes work, it takes leadership, it takes management, it takes having fun, and it takes a leader like John Altic to make all that happen. Going forward, where do you see some of your growth other than, obviously, we talked about the Woodlands, talked about some of the areas right there. You mentioned, obviously, maybe outside of even Texas. Those some big growth areas right there.
Yeah, you know what? You got to dream big, my friend. You got to put it out there. So I'm big on that. I'm at a point where I can see the power of this of our program, and it can go nationally. It's just, again, a slow growth. I don't want to overextend. We are a debt-free company, so we do our growth as cash flow makes that happen. So it's a very controlled growth and smart growth, and we really do our due diligence. But yeah, when you look at what markets are out there from the small towns of Texas, where there's a lot of real estate business happening, all the way to the big cities that we've not tapped into, it's just a huge opportunity in front of us. And we're going to be tapping into that because, again, real estate's kind of been stuck at about 1985 for a long time. The model hasn't changed much. We're out here making some changes to that model and putting some different spin on it. Primarily an individual spin. I talk about having 250 agents. I actually have 250 small business owners because every agent's an independent contractor and is looked at as a small business. So I'm managing a bunch of small business owners to create their own business so that they can grow and prosper.
This is John Altic with JLA Realty. John, we're going to be coming up against time on this segment. You know me, I can talk with you forever, by the way. But I can't do so right now. If you don't mind, let us know how we can reach you or contact any of your great agents.
Yes, we're heavy on social media. Check us out on Facebook, JLA Real Estate on Facebook, or you can reach me on my cell phone, 281-744-2611, and our website, www.jlarealestate.com.
That's www.jlarealestate.com, or you can always catch John at 281-744-2611. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact one of his great agents over there. If you are looking to get involved in the business and want to know a great agency you can go work with that has great environment, give John a call as well. He'd love to talk to you on both counts. John, thanks a lot for being on board this morning.
Thank you, my friend. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy this week.
Likewise, you too, buddy. For all those listening, you are tuned in to The Price of Business. We have to take a break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.